and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I'm your host, Christina. I'm delighted to have this most amazing, beautiful soul that you'll ever meet, the very beautiful Diane McKendrick. Welcome, lovely.
Thank you very much. It's nice to meet you all.
I am so excited to have you on the show. I absolutely adore you. We've known each other for quite a while. Look, I'm going to just stop for a moment because I can get really, really carried away and just want to dive in. But I'm going to let everyone get to know you because you're one half of those two sisters. So I'll get everyone you can introduce yourself and then we're going to dive into some amazing questions today.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Yes, as you said, my name is Diane McKendrick, and I'm one half of those two sisters. My older sister, Michelle Ann, couldn't make it today. So I'll give a bit of an intro on who I am, who she is, why we do what we do. And then, like you said, the podcast will just take its natural course, which I truly believe in. So I'm an ex-athlete, come up, ex-athlete. I got a gold medal at the national titles. So what that meant for me was I learned very early on in life to push, sacrifice, strive, work harder, do more, and push to win the gold medal. I am a reformed overachiever because what that meant for my adulthood and my parenthood, when I pushed, sacrificed, and strived, I burnt out very quickly. So I make a bit of a joke now that I'm ex-athlete, CEO of Overachievers Anonymous, turned conscious couch potato, meaning that I make meaningful income and impact from sitting on the couch. Now, obviously, sitting on the couch is a metaphor for whatever I love to do. Sometimes I'm out sailing, sometimes I'm sitting on the couch, sometimes whatever it is that my value in life is, I love to travel. And I've designed my business and my life so I can continue to create enormous amounts of income and impact by doing what I love to do. Likewise, my older sister, Michelle Ann, she's an ex-copper. She was in the police force for 25 years and she didn't get the vax, so she got the sack. So that was a really hard time for us, obviously. I had started the business on my own and it was doing really well, but I'm very disorganized and I'm a visionary. So I'd have all these visions and I really needed an integrator to come on board to support the vision and get organized and organize my team and all that sort of stuff. So although we went through particularly her single mom lost her income on Christmas Eve a couple of years ago and then joined my business. It's like we say about Michelle, she's the ex-police officer turned tree-hugging hippie. So she's now known as obviously the integrator and the spiritual one. She had this sort of hidden in the closet spiritual side to her where she could do this channeling and this different light language, which in a male-dominated industry like the police force kind of wasn't really welcomed. So yeah, she's really stepped out into that role of integrator and doing a lot of the healing at the retreats. And it's been really powerful to see her step into her power as well. So her name is Michelle Ann. And if you want to look for us, we're on all the social medias. We've got our website, so you can look us up individually, Diane McKendrick, Diane, or Michelle Ann, or Those Two Sisters. So that's where you can find us, find a little bit more out about us. And, I went through some rough times as well. My husband is an international airline pilot, and I didn't used to share this part, but I think if people are listening, it's really important for them to hear the background story on how I got where I got, because it's easy to look from the outside in. So many people do with these social media these days and goes, oh, well, what would she know about being overweight? I'm 65 kilos ringing wet now, fit and healthy as I've ever been. I'm nearly 45 years old. What would she know about having no money? I've written 5 books, one of them about being a millionaire and a mum. What would she know about whatever? But the reality is the reason I am who I am today and why I value and I've created the life I have, because I have been overweight. I have been depressed and miserable and not been able to get out of bed. My husband was an international airline pilot and he lost his job. So our family lost our whole income. I was sort of just working on the side as a bit of a passion project. So our family nearly lost our house. We nearly lost our relationship. Fast forward 4 or 5 years from now, I've replaced his income in the first year. I quadrupled from working from home in school hours, school holidays off. I quadrupled. Airline pilot, they get paid a fair bit. Income. What social media didn't hear for a very long time and you might be surprised to hear, is that went up, but no one taught me how to structure my money. No one taught me how, just pay advance and tax. And I hit rock bottom, like built this $1 million business, and then it all came tumbling down around my ankles because, I knew how to create income and impact, but I didn't structure my money. And so now having Michelle on board, the money is structured, the meetings are had, it's all dispersed out every single week in the finances meeting. And, the business, which is, I'll tell you more about that later, is like booming again. And it's got all the structures in place to ensure the longevity of it. So that's who we are, and that's what we do. We help other business women with setting up their business to do what they love with who they love and get paid for it. So we've just started the Rich Lady Revolution, and it's going nuts. That's the name of the 5th book, is Rich Lady Revolution. Got co-authors similar to the way you do, because I love to hear other people's journeys. So yeah, that's a little bit about us and why we do what we do. And do you want to know anything else about me?
Oh,
Pretty
well,
open.
I know lots about you, but like as I said, like I've been following and obviously know you and Michelle like for quite a while now. But one thing that I absolutely love is the person behind the business is the same as who you meet as well. And I think that's a lot, we talk a lot about authenticity, but a lot of people are sort of trying to blur like who they are at home to who they show up online or at, meetings and that. But you literally can be exactly the same person. Obviously, you wear different hats at different times, but that whole, you know, transition of just being authentic, just being yourself has really been true to your business and your brand.
Yeah, I love that because it's a good reflection. The feedback I get the most when people meet me, because we have a pretty solid online presence now, and we have a team that support us with that, and coaches who support us to educate us on all that sort of thing. The biggest piece, and it's probably one of the most beautiful compliments. At first, I didn't think it was a compliment, but people say constantly, "Oh my gosh," when they meet us in person, "You're exactly like you are online." And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't know there was any other way." If anything, I am an introvert, which people don't believe because I'm a speaker now, and I've written 5 books and I run retreats and I'm out there in the public eye a fair bit. I've trained myself for that. Whereas when I'm meeting people in person, they'll, if anything, they're like, "Oh, you're a bit more quiet than I thought you would be." And Michelle's the extrovert. She's the one that wants to go to all the events and chat to people. And, I'll chat to people, but I'm just better on that one-on-one or on stage one-to-many. So I think when when someone first told me that, I remember I walked into a cafe and it was my first book. And if you've seen my first book, it's called Rise Up, The Soulful Guide to Success. And of course, the photo on the front is nice. And I got a tiny bit of makeup on. I don't even usually wear makeup, but I thought, make an effort. It's on the front of my first book. That's a big deal, or it was at the time. And it's pretty basic. And the lady had it in her hands. And I walked into this. It was my friend's mum, actually. And she looked at the book and then she looked up at me and she screwed up her face and she was like, "Oh, you don't look like anything you don't look like anything that you do on the book." And so I was kind of like, "Oh my gosh," um, really probably offended back then. But then I realized that's not what I look like every day. And that's okay. This is who I am. And I'm not, like you said, you wear hats. So anybody that's listening and building a business, you may have heard we work a lot with energy and frequency, although we're very, very serious business owners as well. Uh, they say love is the highest frequency, but there's one above that in terms of being measured, and it is authenticity. So if you are building a business or doing anything in life, if you can be more of yourself, and that's a question I ask myself and I have my clients ask myself constantly, is how can I feel more fullness in this moment, like this present moment right now? And how can I be more of myself? Because that's the journey, right? It's not about the money. It's not about the fame and the fortune or whatever we think it's about, because at the end of the day, everybody's go home and put their head on a pillow and fall asleep. Like, how are you feeling about yourself in the quiet moments when you're off stage and walking into your home? If there's a long distance between who you're portraying and performing that you are and the person and the human you really are in front of your friends and your family, that's going to be exhausting. And I see it happen, unfortunately, for so many people. There is a huge distance between that, and they burn out and they get exhausted because they're trying to be something that they're not. And sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. It's all part of the journey.
Yeah. How do you also deal with it when, because what I've found, even, over the last few years of building my business, is that the business grows, but I might be stuck here. I shouldn't say stuck, but you're at this level, or then your personal growth goes and then your business. So it's almost like a catch-up game between the two. So as you have an experience in life, you grow, but as you have an experience in business, you grow. And building that authenticity, that new level of version of yourself into that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really relevant question for so many people because of the old line, fake it till you make it. And there's some relevance to that because you can fake being $1 million, but like example, my very first book, second book, sorry, is called Millionaire Mum, The Best of Both Worlds. My business was not at $1 million. I was actually at crisis point when I wrote that. But the reason that I wrote that book is because I was making a bold declaration to the universe that this is the path for me. I was very transparent and open through the book. And there was so much fear, there was so much imposter, there was so much struggle and yeah, I guess struggle in doing that. But my soul knew that this is the path for me and that it required some bold steps. So that book came out long before it was the longest one it took to write, 7 months, because there was fear and imposter. And I just think fear and imposter is just a catalyst to the next level of life, the next level of business. So whenever I am feeling that distance between, oh, the business is doing really well, perhaps I'm not personally, or vice versa, you just got to pause and really reassess what's important to you. And the other thing that I do, so I pause, I'll reassess what's really important to me. And the other thing that I'll do in terms of like one being in front of the other, realize that uh, it's not all as it appears anyway. And I don't have to feel good or be a certain way for my business to be booming or for sales to be happening. My business and my brand is very much like very authentic. So you're getting glimpses into my life every day on what I'm going through and how I get through it. So once again, I think the answer to that is authenticity. If you can go to the core of authenticity and this new compelling identity is offering something up for you and you're in your authenticity, then the next step that you take will naturally expand your awareness, naturally expand your ability to receive, naturally expand your worth and your safety. Because they're the three things as business women. While a lot of us will focus on the profit and loss or the income and the expenses or whatever the business stuff is, but the three most important things that need to expand for the income to go up and the expenses to come down, which is a successful business, doing what you love with who you love, is your worth. So just checking in with your self-worth constantly, like every single day at the core, and not have it relying on other people or external. I'll feel valued and worthy when I get this book done. I'll feel valued and worthy when I'm a millionaire. It's like I feel valued and worthy prior to that, and that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
So worth is really important. The second thing is safety, and it's not talked about enough in the business world. It's starting to be more. So safety in your body, because if last time you received money or last time your business did well or last time you were successful and you had trauma after that or trauma through that, for me, I had to dissolve a fear, which is one of my products now, because I went away as as an athlete and I got a gold medal at the national titles, fastest swimmer in Australia for my age. I thought I would come back and be treated a certain way, like, oh, cool, good on you, pat on the back, you did a good job. I actually came back from that and got horrifically bullied. Because sometimes when you do well in life or business, it shows people where their shortcomings are and they don't like it very much. When you stand out, this tall poppy thing. So I had a fear. I didn't feel safe. I didn't realize this. It was sitting in the unconscious mind until I did the work, which is what I do with business women now. Sitting in the unconscious mind. Last time you were successful, Diane, you got horrifically bullied and outcast, and you were terrified to go to school. So it's sitting in the unconscious mind that, oh, success is not safe for me. And I'm working hard and I'm doing all the things and I'm ticking all the boxes and just the bank account's going down. And it was such a struggle. So there's worth, there's safety. And the other thing is for women is deservability. We put so many people in front of ourselves. We truly need to, from the core, need to understand and embody, like brain and body and being. That's our divine hypnotics modality that Michelle and I came up with and created, and we work through at the retreats and through our books. It's so powerful. We reverse engineered it. It's like, how do we get these great results? How are we getting our clients these great results? And it's like, yeah, divine hypnotics, brain, body, being, it's all of it. So deservability, does your body feel like you deserve a life of your dreams? And if it doesn't, in the unconscious mind, you'll be working really hard, you'll be ticking all the boxes, but you'll still be running in circles. You'll be exhausted, you'll be struggling to make ends meet, you'll be scattered of mind. Your body will go for the impulses of the quick fix, which is usually caffeine, chocolate, chips, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, whatever it is for you. Everybody's got something. So yeah, you've got to really work on those. Not work on, it's not about work. It's just about being aware and having the best coach and community on your side that is in alignment with your values. There's so much coaching out there right now, but I realized for a long time I was getting coached by people without kids. And they were great coaches, but not for me because they had different values. I got to a certain point and I couldn't break through the ceiling. And it was because our values were different. So what they were telling me to do and how to set that up did not align with having a family. So yeah, when you're looking for a coach or a community, that's part of the reason I love you so much, Christine, and your community, because we have very similar values. We care first and foremost, obviously, about ourselves with love and authenticity, but the people. How many conversations have we had? It's like it's about the people. The better I look after myself and the better I do, the better my community does. Everything through the lens of how can this serve other people? And that's with clear boundaries, because I didn't set boundaries at first in my business and I got walked all over, burnt out, hit rock bottom. Women really struggle with that. Yeah, clear boundaries and just it's simple service. It's simply caring enough about other people, listening to more than what they say, to the problem that they have, creating a solution and charging in fair exchange for that solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people try to complicate it and make it so hard, or look at you and look at me, go, oh, look what Christine's done. Look what Diane's done. It's in alignment with our values. That's why it's working. We've got coaches on board that align with our values. We've got clients that align with our values, and that becomes our community. And then we get to blend communities. You know, our people come to your Inspire Awards, and that was incredible and amazing. And then like-minded people meet, and it's bigger than me and it's bigger than you. And they're bonding. And then we go to sleep at night knowing that so many other women have got other business buddies that have got similar values and they want to see each other do really well. That's another one of my favorite things is like so many women in general, probably from the past, that, you know, the sisterhood wound, they criticize and judge and bitch and moan and groan about each other. So there's just no space for that around me or any of my communities. I just don't even attract it. And I know yours is the same. It's just like when you genuinely get a bunch of women together who genuinely that word, want to see other women do well as much as or more than yourself, oh, get goosebumps. Something magical happens. And it's not about the freaking content. It's not about the podcast or the book. It's actually about people's feelings. And it's about people coming together to do what they love with who they love and getting paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Like I always find, like, you know, I've been to quite a few of your events. I mean, I remember like your very first workshops, like in your garage. Like, I mean, it was insane. Like we've known each other that long, and I'm really excited because I'm coming to your retreat as well. So, like, just to even experience that even more. But when you're in the proximity, and I know you will get this, it's like pure love, like for the other person. It's not about competition. It's like, how can I raise you up? How can I support you? Because, you know, we've all had life experiences. We understand, like you and I both being bullied. We know what that, you know, feels like when you're not felt like you're valued, you're seen, or you're heard. So I think from that past, like we want people to experience that. And it is simple, just like pure love for life and pure love for human beings.
Yeah, and that's a feedback, another piece of feedback we get the most is like, I don't know what you girls do. I don't know actually how to market that. Like when someone does come to a retreat, but it's like it's love for self, worth, safety, deservability for self. Because if you don't have it for yourself, you can't foster it in somebody else authentically. You can do it from the surface and you'll get surface success, which is everybody knows what surface success is. I wrote about it in my third book. It's about the straight A's, or for me, winning the race. The thing that you get And then a week, 2 weeks later, it's kind of like, oh, well, that was cool, but what's next?
Yep.
Fulfillment is about relationships and, like you said, the love and the bonds that are formed beyond my lifetime. I know when I leave these retreats, women come into the retreats and you're going to get your firsthand experience of this. And you might know one or two people, but you don't know the majority of the people. And within 12 to 24 hours, the bonds that are formed because of the vulnerability, the transparency, and the love and the care will far outlast my lifetime. So if I could die tomorrow, God forbid, I feel so fulfilled knowing that the legacy and the impact that I've had is far more than me and my family. And I get testimonials and I get messages every day from people saying, you know, what you did and how you did it's changed my life. And then if everybody has this ability to create something beyond the 9 to 5, beyond the rat race, beyond making the ends meet, beyond feeling exhausted every afternoon because you're being everything for everybody. And there's just a few, I don't know if they are simple, but if you've got any fear, fraud, or yeah, usually it's fear, guilt, fraud, imposter feelings, and then the other one, big one, is fear of being seen. You'll make it real hard for yourself. And that's where most women live. And it's so sad because literally within a weekend, or even in the click of the fingers, if you jump on our coaching couch, that's our monthly coaching couch that we do. And it's online, so everybody can come from all over the world. We take ladies through the processes that I personally have done and continue to do. This is the other thing people seem to love about us is in my Queen's Club, which is our highest touch, most intimate business mastermind, I go through, actually in the Rich Lady Revolution as well, which is the subscription. People come every month and they get all the content and they come to a retreat. I do that with them every single time round. Even if I've delivered on it 5 or 6 times, I'm a different person now. I'm a new person now. It's new people or more people. So I go through that process again. That's how much I believe in my work. Michelle and I constantly do it. And I also believe, because one of my highest values is personal development and I've built a business around that, that's how I get so much energy. Yes, I have down days or quiet days, not many. There are not very many, because what I do and who I do it with like fills me up, and never get on a call like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day when I wasn't in such alignment or being as authentically me, I'll probably get a bit more tired. But, I'm nearly 45 now. And like I said, as fit as I've ever been, as connected to my kids and my husband, I know that's all going to roll around. My business is like creating more in a month than most people get paid in a year, consistently with structure and with people on board to help me manage that. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible for all of us. It's just taking those daily steps. And I used to listen to things like this and I'd be, oh, it's all right for her. That's Christine or that's Diane, but can I really do it? And I
Yeah.
just had this, I guess, delusional self-belief, and I still have it. I think it because my self-worth as an athlete, I trust my body. I studied the brain and I know how to be connected in the being. So my friend used that word the other day, delusional self-belief, and I was like, oh, I like that. That doesn't mean that self-doubt doesn't come in. It's actually part of it. It will come in. Self-doubt will be there. But through the hypnosis that I do with people, I can hear it even before they tell me. I can sense. Both me and Michelle have got this sixth sense with our clients. I'm like, she's about to go through this. And because we all
Yeah.
live in patterns, because
Yeah.
I've worked with hundreds of women now, I can nearly write a blueprint of what you're going to go through and when and where, and I can get you through it even before you hit that point. And then people are like, how did you do that? And I was like, I don't actually really know. Just keep doing, intuitively guided, use the structure, use the
Yeah.
model, and yeah, just trust yourself, trust your people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I adore you. I adore both of you. I love working with you. We're going to pop all the details below for people to do it. But I always ask a couple of different questions at the end of it. And me, I love supporting people. But I'm also realizing that one of the biggest things in business is we forget to celebrate. So what's something that's happened in the last 30 days that you haven't, like a big win or a little win, that you haven't yet celebrated?
I will celebrate. This landed for me the other day because I can tend to, as an overachiever, be really hard on myself and have a pretty solid get to do list and be You guys know what I'm talking about. Disappointed if I don't get through this impossible list every single day. And I was having a moment of being pretty hard on myself because I take proper holidays too. I don't work on holidays at all. And I just had pretty much a month off. We had our biggest month in business. So I should celebrate that. So celebrating that. And also, and probably more importantly to me, I realized, I think it was actually when I posted in your group, because I post every day. You put your thing up every day and
Yeah.
I respond every day with a photo. I was like, oh my gosh, in the last 7 days, I've learned how to sailboard. So we went out and went sailing with the family. My husband taught me to sailboard and I picked it up like that. Much to his disgust. He's like, it's going to be good for you to see you not good at something. But yeah, I picked it up. I got out to the middle of the lake and I couldn't get back in. But anyway, we won't share that part of the story. You had to take me back in. So within 7 days, learned to sailboard. The next couple of days, took my son to the wake park at the Gold Coast. And I
Yeah.
thought, I'm not sitting here all day doing nothing. What's my values? Adventure, fitness, family. Oh, well, how about I give it a crack? So I wakeboarded with him for several hours. That was so fun. So all my boxes were ticked. And then the next day I had Esme, my daughter, and four of her cousins. So I had 5 kids. So that's how Michelle and I and my brother I'll look after your kids, you guys work. And then when I need to work, we'll swap. I had 5 kids and I went swimming. And I was like, I swam with them. I did laps while they played. And I thought that's a true celebration because my business is bringing in this usually December, no, not usually, in the past, December, January have been the hardest months for us. We've done our biggest months to date since we've been those two sisters. I've done more by myself back in the day before I knew what I
Yeah.
know now. It's funny. So that celebrating, we've done more. I'm not even doing any work because the team's doing it. I just know my role and I do my role. And within that 7 days, I did 3 things that were all focused on fitness, family,
Yeah.
fun, adventure. So that is my celebration that I'm building a business. It's a multi-million-dollar business that doesn't rely on me being there. And with my days, I get to spend time with my
Yeah.
family having fun and doing it's different for everyone, but that's what's important to me now at this season and cycle in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously the other question, because you've come to my meetings before, is obviously, is there something, a goal that you want to achieve in the next 30 days that you need some help and support with? Because I'm sure within my community, there's people that we can connect you with to help you.
Yeah, I would love to. There's a few things. Uh, Coaching Couch is the thing we do every single month, and it's only $22, and it's so valuable.
Yeah.
But I find it really difficult because I guess there's a lot of people doing stuff to reach more people without paying for Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So this coming month is unlock your motivation. And it was funny just because before I was talking to you, I was doing the PowerPoint and I'm doing it. Like, this is so good. This is the stuff that got me where I'm going, right? It's
Yeah.
only $22. It's 90 minutes. So I would love to offer all of anyone that's listening from your community a free ticket. I'll just get you a code. My
Yeah.
brain might know what it is. I can give you a code. You guys can come for free and then maybe just share the link. And if everybody brings a friend and then you can do
Let's
it
do it.
together. And then you build it together and you hold each other accountable and you watch each other's language and you notice
Mm.
your friends' patterns and that's then how it changes internally and externally. So yeah,
Yeah.
a share come along if it feels aligned with you and a share to the coaching couch about unlocking your motivation. I think that would be so powerful.
Done. We can do that. No problems at all. And one other question I'd love to ask you is you're going to have a amazing dinner party. You're allowed to invite one special guest, and that guest can be from the past or from the present. Who would you have?
You know what? I'd really love to meet Princess Diana.
Yes.
I don't know why, just she sort of died when I was about 17, 18. But
Mm,
just the bond I see that she had with her boys and I'd like to know she seems like a very powerful, quietly spoken woman, and I think there's a lot that happened that I'd just be really curious to hear more from her. And yeah,
yeah. I think that would be really, yeah, absolutely beautiful. I still remember that day coming up. Yeah, when she passed. So yeah, definitely. Like I said, I can not speak highly. If you want to go and reach out, we're going to pop all the links below how you can reach out to Di and Michelle and also look at those two sisters. Highly recommend working with them. I've worked with them myself, so I can personally testify to it as well. So you were an amazing help for me. I worked with Di very closely leading up to the Inspire Awards. So dealing with a lot of pressure, a lot of moving parts and everything like that. So totally can vouch for all of that. But we're going to put all the details. Thank you so much, beautiful, for being here today. I really do appreciate it. Thank
Absolute
you.
pleasure.
Oh, thank you to everyone who has watched this episode. And remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all. Yay!
Done.
Alrighty.